Welcome to the People Leaders Podcast, the audio resource for managers and business leaders creating high-performing teams. Join leadership and team development experts Jan and Michelle Turkelson each week as they explore both subjects from every angle. Through practical tips, valuable insights, and compelling interviews with leadership experts around the world, you'll learn how to bring out the best in your staff and how to give your best as a leader.
Hi Jan, how are you?
Excellent. We're always excellent, aren't we?
I know.
I've had a swim in the ocean today, so I'm happy.
Yeah, good.
So we are going to share with you a mentoring question template, because what we're finding is that especially high performers and senior leaders have a combination in their career of coaches as well as mentors. And for mentors, in order to get the most out of your time with the person that you're mentoring, it is good to have a framework. And even though you can use this as flexibly as you wish, it is good to have some type of structure, because there are some people who you're mentoring who are really going to appreciate the structure.
That's right. And even if you have this in your back pocket and you're following it very loosely, at least there's, you've got a pathway in order to steer the sessions, because for some mentoring sessions, they're a bit of a let's have a coffee and a catch up, and they actually, I don't know, they lose the potential that good mentoring can have. And so a little bit of structure that you can play with can really make these mentoring sessions come to life and be really worthwhile for you and for them.
Satisfying.
Yeah, very satisfying.
So the four main, components in this template is: what has happened since your last session? So looking at the past. What are you working on, which is very present focused? How can I help as a mentor? And then what is next step? And if you can cover those off, then you've really got a solid basis. So let's just deep dive into those areas, which is on the template. So what has happened since our last session? So this is a question that allows them to reflect. And what are any breakthroughs or insights that they have had about their style, feedback that they've received, something about their characteristic, or any project that they've been working on?
Yeah, so for some people, breakthroughs and insights feels a little bit woo-woo. So it might be, so have you learnt anything about your management style? Or, is there anything that you would have done differently based on what you just told me? So it's all about reflection, this piece, and providing context.
That's right. And insights, again, is a very intuitive word, but it could be around, data or intelligence or anything that has a little bit more of a solid basis to it. And then the next question that you could ask, are there any new choices or decisions that you have made? And do you want to tell me about them? Because then you invite people to articulate their decision-making process.
Yeah, great.
Which allows them to reflect and get a deeper sense of awareness around how they think, feel and behave, which is really what that personality and preference is. So you actually learn, they're learning and you're learning in that process. So the second category is, what are you working on? So this is very present focus, and usually in coaching and mentoring, we spend most of our time in the present, getting the facts, and then moving into the forward. What are you working on? So progress reports on goals, projects, activities. So these are really action oriented. What are the achievements?
Yeah. So what are you working on could be, it could be an ongoing thing. So maybe your mentoring sessions were set up around career development. So when we look at these questions, they might all have that career development flavour. So what are you working on in relation to your career since last time we caught up? So it could be very targeted, or it could be very broad. So, what's going on in your work right now? The highs, the lows.
And that's a good point, Michelle, because some people get mentoring for networking purposes and developing relationships. Some people do it because of career progression. Some people are just new to a role and they need that extra support. The other question is, what have you done that you're proud of? And for some people, this is a really challenging question to answer.
That's right, because we don't like to, blow our own trumpets.
However, what this does, it allows that person to reflect on their strengths and capabilities, because we need to be really clear where we are using those.
Yeah, and the other thing is that you can swap out the word proud for satisfied. You know, what have you been really satisfied with you know, having done in the last month or last 6 weeks?
Yeah. And what are your obstacles?
Yeah. So what is causing, and obstacles could be what's causing you stress at the moment.
Yeah. What are your roadblocks?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So the next category is how can I help?
Yeah, so you might ask the question, this is if you've noticed that there are some obstacles or issues in what you've just covered. So you don't want to jump, if everything's going swimmingly for that person, actually you can still ask the question, how can I help?
Sure, that's right. Or is there anything else? That's right. That's right. How could we progress this? How could this be even smoother for you?
Yeah.
More satisfying. Yeah. That's right. There's always more.
Always more, that's right. And then you can start to work on, so what's a plan of action? Are there any tweaks to that plan of action that we talked about last time, or your broad strategy that could sort of go in this section here about how I can help?
That's right, and that's when you can offer a strategy or a piece of advice.
That's right. Or is there anything that you'd like advice on? You could ask that question.
And then the fourth category is the what is next. What is the next step? What is the next most logical step after what we've discussed?
That's right. And it could be, so what are you going to do? Based on what we've just covered then, what are you going to do? And is there something that I, have said that I could do for you, introduce you to someone or give you an article, whatever that looks like. You don't want to create too much work for yourself, but it's always about moving them forward.
And what I have found, Michelle, the two questions or the two approaches for moving into action, I would always look at the next most logical step and what is the path of least resistance.
Yeah, they're great.
Really, when you can define that, then you'll never be stuck.
That's right. Or what do you feel like doing? And I think in a mentoring relationship, you can really deep dive into asking people, what does it feel like in their
emotions,
gut?
Their head, heart, gut.
That's right. Yeah, what feels like something that you'd like to do about this?
Yeah. Or what is your head telling you? What is your heart telling you? What is your gut telling you? Yeah, that's right. So we hope that you use this template in some way for the benefit of yourself or the person that you're mentoring. And again, if you've got any questions, please feedback to us.
Enjoy. And if you've got any new questions, send them to us. Let us know how you go.
Great.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode of the People Leaders Podcast. For show notes and other resources, please visit us at peopleleaderspodcast.com. While you're there, you can subscribe for future episodes so you can continue your own leadership journey. And please be sure to share this and other episodes with your friends and colleagues. The People Leaders Podcast is brought to you by the Experts on Air Podcast Network.